Yo, what up? So today I'm going to be doing what I would call a PowerPoint presentation of all the things that if I had a magic wand that I could change about The Binding of Isaac Repentance. One of my favorite video games, but it's not perfect, and there are quite a few things I would change. Now, this is going to not offer any like practical advice, no like resources or coding or like the time and energy. This is, magic wand situation. Just what I would change about the game. Uh, yeah, these things. I can talk about like item balances, character changes I would make, boss changes, areas of the game, that sort of thing. Those are the things. So here's the general changes. To give you a heads up, I mean every change I would make to the game. So we're gonna start with like the really small petty things. Character descriptions. What do I mean by that? Like look at Lazurus' description. Are you kidding me with this? You know what's wrong with this description? This abomination that is in front of you? Where's the pill? After you unlock it, where's the pill in his description? Edmund? Like look at Maggie here. Oh, okay, I took out transitions. Apparently I did not take out that transition. Oh, whatever, we'll leave it in. See, like, Maggie here, she gets a pill in her description, but not Lazarus. And where's Lazarax, right? That's another item that Lazarus starts. And you might be saying, well, that's just part of his character. It's an intrinsic aspect. You don't have to mention the fact that Lazarus starts with Lazarus Rags. That's obvious. And yet, Holy Mantle, which is definitely intrinsic to the Lost, because if you turn into the Lost in other situations like the White Fire, Soul of the Lost, all that stuff, you get the Holy Mantle if it's unlocked for Lost, right? Like you put enough money in the greed donation machine, and yet it's in here in his item description. And Tainted Samson and Incubus for Lilith, those are also intrinsic items that are part of it. Descriptions. And Lilith, where's Box of Friends? Right? Where's Box of Friends in Lilith's description? Right? I'm saying, okay, well, 2 items, like, come on. You don't want to overcrowd the description. But look at Eve here. She's got 3 items slapped in there. Right? And one of them's Dead Bird. And, like, who honestly needs to be told that Eve starts with Dead Bird? Who cares? So, overcrowding a description, not a problem. So, just thought I'd point that out. Okay, so that was the smallest, pettiest thing I could think of. So that's what we're starting with. And we're going to go, starting at the bottom, working our way up. Alt Path. Alt Path, wonderful addition to the game. And by Alt Path, I do mean going to Mother, right? Going to Downpour, Mines, Mausoleum, Corpse, Mother, right? Great addition to the game. Fun and all that jazz. But it's not perfect, right? Mines and Ash Pit. What about Mines and Ash Pit? All right. So when you're not going for Mother, what's the point of going Alt Path? Well, I actually think there is. Going to Downpour 2, I think is a great place to go for that, for the boss trap room, for the White Fire to get flight for the entire floor, another shop if there's a restock machine, a second boss fight, and to offset like Curse of the Labyrinth. Like there's a bunch of reasons to go there. Ash Pit and Mines. Oops, I went too far. Like you can argue that Knife Piece 2 it's an okay familiar, right? Avoid, Curse of the Labyrinth. Like if you are going Alt Path, like you have to come here, right? +1 challenge room, there's a bonus blind item, no downside to Book of Rev, but like that's it. These floors, they're so tough. And Mines and Ash Pit, I think, are probably the hardest. Ash Pit, especially, it's probably the hardest part of the entire of Isaac. For where you're expected to be power level wise, I'd say Ash Pit's probably the hardest floor in Isaac. Maybe Womb in Greed mode. In Greedier mode, I mean. Greedier Womb might be a little harder than Ash Pit 2 sometimes, but I think most of the time it's Ash Pit too, man. Very lame compared to the Mirror Dimension and Downpour Dross. Mausoleum, just a side note, is also worth going to for that extra item room shop, plus one more floor of taking half damage. Oh, but you're getting hit more. If you just keep going, Mausoleum, it's actually not that bad difficulty-wise. It's kind of equal to Womb, especially because there's some BS Wombs. Anyway, and most importantly, the escape sequence. I hate the escape sequence. Running out with that second knife piece. It's boring and tedious. Like, once you get the hang of it, you've got the hang of it. Like, I've been playing some mod characters that have some, like, gimmicks, so I've been going in there, and I've still been like, that was kind of a waste of my time. So yeah, not worth. Yeah, okay, so unless if you're going for Mother, there's no reason to be going to Mines and Ash Pit. How do we make Mines and Ash Pit worth going to, unless if you're not going to Mother? Because it's never worth going to. You're just going to take a whole bunch of dumb damage. And here's 3 of those big reasons why down there, of why you might be taking a lot of dumb damage. Alright, so Mines, add more money rocks. Sure. I feel like make it a guarantee bonus floor, like, or maybe just straight up immune to the chance of not being a fully stocked shop. Maybe add some other kind of special room. What other kind of special room? I don't know about that, but the most thing I want to change is the escape sequence, because that's the part that I really dislike. Alright. Knife piece 1 shouldn't be required for the Mineshaft to show up. I don't know, like, why this is the case. Like, all the other, like, lore, like, story stuff, their doors and their rooms, they always show up. I have no idea why the Mineshaft entrance doesn't show up if you don't have Knife Piece 1. It's very strange. And just like the Mirror Dimension having a bonus challenge for the extra boss item that you can get from the boss, I feel like having a bonus challenge in here to get something extra while you're going for the knife piece, like, that'd be good. That would be a reason for me to go out of my way to, oh, I'll swing around and do, maybe I'll do that for the extra bonus item, because all the trouble isn't worth it. So this is like a normal layout, right? You got the starting room, you go up, grab the knife piece, come back. You know, get chased by Mother, and then, yeah. And after you grab the knife piece, you come back, then there's this extra wing here with a bonus item of doing a few more rooms while being chased by Mother. Alright, you can either dip with the knife piece or be like, you know what? We're gonna go for that item. Alright, it'd be a locked door. You couldn't get through it until you have Mother chasing you back. Then it's I thought I took all the funny transitions out. I'm gonna leave them all in. Who cares? So what's the reward? It's an item. I was also thinking the room could have some chests, some coins, maybe some bombs. 4 chests sounds good. But they couldn't be golden chests. Well, maybe there'd be keys in there too, so you could actually open up the golden chests, or a golden key, perhaps. And what item pool would it be? You know, you could make a boss item. You know, for the mirror dimension, the bonus item that you get there on Downpour, that's a boss item. So maybe you could also make it a boss item, or a treasure room, or a new pool with, like, mining and mom related items or something. So all the bombs, that sort of thing. Just something, man. Anyway, other alt path stuff, escape sequence aside, I would like more alt path bosses, because I'm really tired of seeing the same 4. Okay, I'm not really tired of seeing the same 4 guys in Mausoleum and Gehenna. I'm still gonna go there, but the variety is a little lacking. There's literally only this is it. This is all the bosses that these floors have to offer. Corpse, like, you will see one of these 3 guys. And compared to the regular stage, like, there's 13, there's 12. Like, and your argument could be, well, for for Corpse and Mausoleum, you know, the boss's mom and, you know, mother. So it doesn't need you only fight the one guy. Well, for the regular path, look, there's a billion dudes. They couldn't even all fit on the slide, right? Like that would just like a little extra variety. And I know Mortis was like scrapped due to time, probably. And Kadavra, I've seen Kadavra. He kind of just looks like a earlier version of Chimera, right? I feel like Kadavra, all those people holding out for a little bit more variety on the bosses there. I don't know. I think Kadavra isn't gonna happen, but if they could implement him to be better, I'd take him. Or I mean, better, different than Chimera, sure. But no, I'd be totally open for having Mortis in the game too. Having an alternate skin for Corpse, that'd be great. Not a priority of mine though, because it's not really like the All Path's fun and all, but once you've done it, once you've got a Dead God save file, you've taken every character to Mother, there's no like real reason to go there, because it's not more fun than going to Blue Baby or Mega Satan, right? Like those are kind of the more fun ways to go because there's more items, there's more opportunity to get wacky game breaks and shenanigans happening. Oh, yeah. Yeah, an extra boss and an extra alt floor would spice up the 34 requires to alt path considerably. That'd be nice, I would think. Oh yeah, and a chance for the void portal to open up after the mother fight. That'd be nice. Because how it works, there's no continuation after the mother fight. Like, that's it. I've seen some people say that they should add the cathedral and Sheol entrances. I'm not sure about all that, but I think a 20% chance to go to Delirium, I think that's reasonable. Because usually when I'm clearing out a character, right, I usually go to Mega Satan first. And then after Mega Satan, if I miss the 50% chance to go to the Delirium portal, then I'll do other stuff, and then do Lamb, and then finish by going Hush Delirium if I have to. Because if I can, finish up the save file a little bit faster, that's the way to do it. But sticking a void portal here, especially if you have like a fun run that you want to keep going, and then the void portal opens, ooh, that'd be exciting. Oh yeah, that note. Okay. There was for a time in Repentance that the void Delirium would crash if he tried to change into Mother. I'm not sure if that's still in the game. Just make sure that's fixed first. I think I've gone to Delirium once after Mother. It requires there to be a sacrifice room, right? Teleport out after you beat Mother, use the sacrifice room, go to Dark Room, and get lucky either defeating Lamb and having the Delirium portal open or Mega Satan having the Delirium portal open. And that's what happened with the Tainted Keeper run forever ago for me. Alright, an internal item description. I don't really need an external item description. I know what everything in the game does. Yeah, even Edmund has admitted that Isaac may need one. I feel like as a newer player experience, because there's 720 items. I like the original vision, right, of figuring out what everything in the game does yourself. That's cool and all. But there is a lot of stuff in this game, man. For a new player that didn't first start with, well, even not even Flash, start with Rebirth. And then Afterbirth came out, and then Afterbirth Plus, and then the booster packs, and then Repentance. Like all this stuff coming in, you could like ease yourself into building layers on layers on layers of like knowledge and trying stuff out. Like I'm still finding new cool wacky stuff today. Like I played an Isaac run today and I've never seen that before. And I had 3 Dead God save files, right? Like it's a lot. So yeah, there's this much stuff in the game times 6. Like there's a lot of stuff in this game, right? On the other hand, I don't want to ruin that initial like fun discovery idea that Edmund had. So there has to be a compromise between the... You've all seen the external item description mod in action. You've all watched... If you're watching this video, you've watched enough Isaac content to see how this mod works. It's too exhaustive, I think, for a vanilla in-game feature. So there needs to be some sort of middle ground between total blindness and the external item description mod. So for an internal item description, I would think a very bare bones description. Oh, that's not the first point. When you first encounter an item, it would be off of the grid, whether it be identified or not. Like, it would not work for the first item, or the first time you've seen the item. So, like, you walk into a room, and it could either say one of these two things, right? I'm more in the favor of the one on the left, giving you no information whatsoever. You walk into the room, it's an item you've never picked up before on that save file. I don't know if I actually explained that. Okay, let me start over then. What I mean is that the description would not activate until you've at least picked up the item once on the save file. Does that make sense? So if you enter an item room and it's a new item to you because you haven't picked it up yet, it would read something like this. New item, name, question mark, description, question mark. I wouldn't be against giving you the name of the item at least, maybe giving you a little clue of what possibly the item could do. But then if you have collected the item on the save file, the name of the description would definitely appear. And again, like I was trying to say earlier, it'd be a much more bare bones description. Like, let's take breakfast. 1 HP and heals 1 red heart. Which, for a simple item like breakfast, that's about all what you would expect. But Sacred Heart, it would be a much less exhaustive description of what the internal item description gives you. You know, Sacred Heart grants you homing tears, full health, 1 HP up, and a large damage up, tears, shot speed down. Maybe not even mention the shot speed down, because, like, who cares? Maybe just tears down, right? A much more bare bones, like it doesn't tell you it contributes to the Seraphim, right? Or something like take Everything Jar, an active item. Grants a different effect depending on the amount the item is charged, right? It wouldn't list the 12 different levels of payouts. Right? It's still up to the player to discover and learn what those are, but that just simple 1-sentence description, I feel like that's great. That would be what I'd be more looking for. Basic description, not keeping track of all the details. Cool. So those are like the 2 big general issues, I think. All path, the description mod. Yeah. Alright, so let's get into the miscellaneous stuff. Say hi to Yoshi. Melee attacks. I play with a mod that fixed this, because this sucks, right? Being like... Oh. They'll show up at the same time. That's annoying. Like, you're the Forgotten, and you swing, and you can't hit the thing that's right in front of you, and your stupid bone is all the way over there. Enemies that get near you, you can't hit them. Watch out! It should work like that, because it's just more fun and more intuitive. That's my opinion. I use a mod that does this. I think that should just be vanilla. And I think bag of crafting shouldn't be affected, because it's kind of dumb that it gets so far away from you. I don't think it should get the same giant bone or sword effect. Cool. Oh boy, spawn indicators for greed mode. What great this would be. This would be heavenly, in my opinion. Nobody likes having enemies spawn on top of them in greed mode. Everyone knows like the general areas that you're more likely to be safe standing as the wave spawn in. Tana Lost, I did die quite a bit in greed mode. I think everyone did. You get some spawn invincibility, like the enemies can't hurt you, they're intangible for a while. But if they have some kind of death rattle, you know, they fire bullets, new enemies, explosives, whatever, it ends up killing you instantly a lot. Like, my thought was just a simple crosshair as the counter's blinking 0. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. Like, that'd be good. But I also saw a comment in a video very recently. I didn't have time to, I didn't edit the slide to add this as a possibility, but they said Have them work like the enemies in Downpour. That once you clear the room, you have those guys that pop up on the floor, but they won't pop up if they would pop up right on top of you. Any enemies that would spawn on top of you, they don't spawn until you like move away from that tile. That's so simple and genius. I'm much more of a fan of that idea than the reticle idea. The reticle, the simple crosshair, that'd be all right too. But for example, let's take this clip. I'll just let Undertale keep playing, sure. Pretty easy to die on Womb. Lots of stuff to hit you in a stupid idiot way. For example, the applause is perfectly timed. Thank you, Undertale music, but like that was unavoidable. The dude literally just instantly died and killed me with bullets in a microsecond. Like, you couldn't have not avoided that. And it's funny in that run, that's how I lost. You could say, oh, you shouldn't have lost the mantle. That happened to me on depths. That's how I lost the mantle. Exact same thing. Anyway, can I go to the next slide now? Can I proceed? No, I don't want to watch the video again. Thank you. So yeah, right where the enemies spawn, just right as that timer, that 0 is blinking as it's about to spawn in the new wave, just have the reticles spawning. But like I said, I recently read a comment, have them work like the downpour enemies, that if they were to spawn right or near you, delay their spawn until you move away from the tile. That seems great to me. Alright, Devil and Angel deal chances. This is such a wonderful change to Repentance if you're trying to go Mega Satan. Sometimes getting the knife, the key pieces is a little difficult. And this was a great change, that if you skip the Devil Room, the Angel Room is guaranteed for next time, but only once. This only works once. So if you get really unlucky, sometimes you'll just never see another Angel chance again. I've had runs where you do everything right? You even like, you play a beggar, you donate 10 cents to the machine, you have key piece 1, and you still roll like the 5% chance devil deal. Or you just never get it. So I feel like skipping the devil room, it doesn't actually do anything a second time. I feel like if you skip every time you skip the devil deal, the next time should be guaranteed angel. I feel like that's reasonable. Like, it's already building off of previously existing mechanic in this game. There are some people, I've heard some hot takes about this. Right? Getting one of the knife piece, you should get, guaranteed angel until next time. I don't know about that. Skipping devil reels the first time should always get rid of devil deals. I've heard those takes before. Seen a number of upvotes on Reddit for those opinions. I don't think so. I think that's a little much. Yeah, first idea is overpowered. Second idea is dumb. I like this idea. It already builds off the previous idea. Just make it every time you skip the devil deal, you guarantee the next angel. Anyway. Oh yeah, speaking of cool changes from Afterbirth Plus to Repentance, you can't get super sins in basement, which is great. No more walking into the first room of the game and just being cornered immediately by like Ultra Pride, or have to suffer through a super envy fight. Nobody is complaining about this change. This is an amazing change. Hello. Yeah, no more super envy floor 1. But since we've made that change, I feel like a little bit of symmetry is in order. Regular sins can't show up in Chapter 5, maybe even Chapter 4. Bouncing out the change on Chapter 1, but like sometimes it's a little goofy. You walk into Cathedral, the mini-boss room, and it's just like in a lust, and then you walk outside, and then it's like a room with like, 2 lusts and a gluttony, and you're like, okay. The mini-boss was easier than the average room. It's a little goofy. So maybe make it so that, only you ban the little guys for the later chapters in the game. And also, dude, what'd be great would be some more variety of mini-bosses, because it's just the sins. Like, maybe stick in Headless Horseman or Steven, or like some of those guys that replace guys. Like, walk in and it's the Fallen, walk in and it's like Gish. You know, something like that. Or some new, maybe design some new bosses, like Blessed Virtues, first of the sins, the Blessed Virtues, right? So the deadly sins. Get faith, hope, charity, chastity, all those things up in here, right? Sure. Alright. Mega Satan, just have the stupid chest always appear. I think I forgot to add those in. Anyway. Instead of the void portal appearing only if the cutscene doesn't play, like, it's always annoying. Because you can't plan accordingly. Like, if you're trying to go to Delirium, knock out a whole bunch of completion marks, you have a teleport card, and you get the portal to show up after fighting Lamb or Blue Baby. The Delirium portal opens, you just know that, oh, I got the 20% here. I'm no way I'm going to get the 50% after Mega Satan. Oh, but I have a teleport card. If only after defeating Mega Satan and missing the chance I could teleport out. If only. Or even being able to R-key after you fight Mega Satan if the portal isn't open. I feel like it should not immediately play the cutscene, okay? That's what I'm saying. Just don't have the cutscene play. Alright. Another minor detail. Ooh, Ultra Greed Spin Attack. Guess what happens? Look at Samson here. This player chose to take Sacred Sword in Greed mode. An interesting decision. This is just a clip I found on the internet. This isn't me specifically. I think you can find this video. But guess what happens in the next frame? Right? There's Samson. There's Greed. Very next frame on the YouTube video, he's dead. Awesome. This is the next frame of the YouTube video. It's like a video titled Greed hitbox moment or something like that. Like, dude, this is an atrocious hitbox. Are you kidding? You're just dead? Yeah, anyway, fix that stupid hitbox. I think it's might be the worst hitbox in the entire game. There's some janky hitboxes in this game, but this is the most egregious one. Like, that's so awful. He's so far away and just dead. Anyway. Ooh, here's the logo for the game, right? I use a mod. I put those blood wings up there, baby. Those blood wings, they were so cool. Why'd you get rid of them? Why'd you get rid of the blood wings, man? Because it looks so empty without them. Then you put the blood wings back, and it's like, ah. Rebirth, Afterbirth, Afterbirth Plus had the blood wings. Don't know why they got rid of them for Repentance. Beautiful. All right. Our next section. What is our next section? Oh yeah, let's get into the real meat of stuff. Buffs and changes. Right? This is what people really care about, right? They want to see their favorite items buffed, their least favorite or their favorite items untouched. All that jazz. I'm not really a nerf guy. I'm sure there's probably some items in the game that, quote, need to be nerfed or whatever, but I'm all about taking the parts of the game that kind of suck and making them better. Alright, let's start with runes. Speaking of stuff that kind of sucks, Burkano. Not a bad rune, but it's just not interesting, right? All it does is give you some spies and flighters. Lame. Spies and flighters, nobody cares. One of the best changes in Repentance to a sucky item, Monster Manual. Changes to a random familiar for the rest of the floor. That's what I think Burkano should do. Make it be a one-time use Monster Manual. Give you a random familiar for the rest of the floor. Much more interesting, and still fits in with like the theme of companionship, right? That's the tagline for Burkano, right? Companionship. I think it'd be better, yeah. But sometimes you get Isaac's Heart, right? Sometimes you get a familiar that doesn't do anything, like Hashi. Ooh, excuse me. It would make it like a literally weaker Soul of Lilith, because it gives you a permanent familiar, and this would give you a temporary familiar. But at the same time, it's already one of the weakest runes in the game, so make it just a little bit more interesting. And you can make it the clear rune charge go up from 6 from 2. That's fine. Hegalaz. Another really underwhelming rune. It just smashes a bunch of rocks in the room. Who cares? Destruction? It's not very Mr. Destructoid. Like, if you got a room full of mushrooms and you're digging for magic mush, that's like the most exciting it gets. Or like you're on floor 1 and you're in one of those weird rooms that has a whole bunch of chests behind rocks. You're either hoping for flight or like a golden bomb or Hagelos. But like you never get Hagelos on floor 1. You always get it like depths when it's completely worthless. Ooh, cool, I smashed some skulls. Who cares? What I think it should be like a one-room Mama Mega. Or maybe a 12-charge Larynx, right? Just blam. Just obliterates everything. Really actually get the destruction. All the secret rooms open. Because right now, Hagelos, it doesn't even open the secret rooms, right? It doesn't even do that. Kills everything in the room. Smashes all the machines and beggars. You know, just obliteration, like what Mama Mega does. Might exempt opening boss rush Hush door. That might be overbalanced, or too powerful, I mean. Might hurt the balance of the game or whatever. I probably would leave that off the list of what Hagelos could do the same as Mama Mega. But I'd be okay with it. And as for the clear rune charge, I guess up to 12, sure. Anyway, alright. Like I said, I'm more about buffing other things before we try to nerf curses, but well, really, you'll see I'm basically just talking about two curses, but no one really likes curses. Like, we deal with them, and they do make the game interesting, but it's not really like, no one's really like a fan of curses. Alright. Wow, unpopular opinion that nobody else has. Don't really like them. Great change in repentance is that they are 33% chance of happening instead of 50. So I remember I was looking at my Afterbirth Plus item tier list, and I saw I had Black Candle like near the top, and I was like, hey, Black Candle's good, but is it that good? And then I remembered, wait a minute, yes it was, because Afterbirth Plus, it was 50% chance to get a curse. You got Curse of the Blind all the time. It was not unheard of to have Curse of the Blind, like, actually for so yeah, let's make some more natural counters to the game instead of nerfing the curses straight up. So I'm looking around at what I mean by other things. I mean like trinkets and runes and items. Blue map, for example. It's kind of an underwhelming item. Like you pick it up because it's decent mapping. But if you had it in the item room with the compass or even the treasure map, you wouldn't even hesitate. If you had 15 cents, you'd buy the compass or the map over blue map for sure. If you're just looking for mapping. So let's give it a little something to push it over the edge in this balance here. Let's give it immunity to map-related curses. It would be immune to Curse of the Lost, and sure, Curse of the Maze, why not? That's a map-related immunity. Right? I would probably take it over the compass if it gave me guaranteed Curse of the Lost. It'd make me think about taking it more often. A nice little upside. You can now see the map. Woohoo! No more Curse of the Maze. Wow. Alright. Anzus, already a very strong rune. Doesn't actually really need a buff. But a lot of mapping in this game, they don't really stand out from each other. Like, what's the difference between the sun, the world, the mind, treasure map, Anzus? Like, there's a lot of mapping in this game. Something to make Anzus stand out? I feel like it could clear Curse of the Lost, where sun and world couldn't. Clear out Curse of the Lost, and you can just see the whole floor. And maybe, I also entertained the idea of maybe it just does it for your current room. You can use Anzus, make at least a mental map in your head, and then as soon as you leave the room, it goes back to being obscured. Yeah. More like the idea of it just full clearing out Curse of the Lost. I think that's fine. Feels like I'm walking on Sunshine Pill. List Curse of Darkness. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory why I feels like walking on Sunshine should do that. Yeah, self-explanatory, really. Alright, Perthrow. There's a lot of reroll items in this game. I think having Perthrow having the unique property of lifting Curse of the Blind for the current room when you use it would be interesting. None of the other ones do anything like that, And then you would be in a position of, let's say you're in like the devil room or a secret room, right? It's like it could be a good item there, but I could use per throw to at least see what I'm picking up. Maybe I'm re-rolling something good, right? It gives a little bit more interesting thing, right? It could re-roll it in something amazing like Dunce Cap. That'd be awesome. And it would stand out amongst, the other. Like for all part, what's the difference between Dice Shard and per throw? Okay, Dice Shard rerolls also has D20, right? But like, how often are you using Dice Shard like the D20? You're not. Okay, you're not. Don't flatter yourself. Oh, but this one time I assembled all the pills and cards and trinkets I wasn't going to use and put it in the same room as the item I was going to reroll, and I got a couple extra bombs and keys. Oh wow, was it worth the 20 minutes you spent picking all those things up and dropping them? No. Yeah, I didn't think so. Alright. Top-down approach. Alright. Or we can just directly address the real problems, which is, of course, Curse of the Blind and Curse of the Lost. The other curses, who cares, right? Curse of the Maze, no big deal. Curse of Darkness, sure. Curse of the Unknown, a little dangerous sometimes, but just don't get hit, lol, right? These two are the most actually annoying. Curse of the Lost. I think a great change for Curse of the Lost would be it only applies to the rooms that aren't the starting room. When you go back to the starting room, the whole map can be revealed. The worst part of this curse is when you're just wandering around forever looking for the one doorway that you missed to continue your progress, right? So if you have like a home base, you can sit in the starting room, chart your course, maybe even go, oh, there's the secret room. Let me go up 3 rooms to the left and then bomb the south wall. I can find my secret room. Because sometimes, like, it's hopeless sometimes to find the secret room without the map. Like, unless if you started drawing a map yourself, like, good luck finding the secret room sometimes. Unless if it's like a really obvious secret room, you're just going to miss it. And you can still get disorientated, I'm sure, but having a home base, I feel like that'd be cool. Curse of the Blind. How would we change Curse of the Blind? I feel like a little who's that Pokemon is in order. Right? Maybe we can do some black outlines of the items only, or some other methods of scrambling the item, like obscuring it in some way so it's visually unclear what item it is you're picking up, but an experienced, sharp-eyed player might be able to still discern what the item could be. True Curse of the Blind can still happen, but just make it like a percentage of the time. So it's not always just, oh cool, I picked up Cursed Eye. Amazing. So like, take Incubus, you can make it a black outline slapping a question mark in front of it, scramble up the image, or all sorts of interesting things that you could do to make it difficult to see what the item is. I still think a true Curse of the Blind, you could still have that happen, where it's just the question mark, and you like nothing you can do to like squint at the item and try to figure out what it is. But just saying, little who's that Pokemon could be better for Curse of the Blind. But I mean, some of the most interesting times I've had in Isaac is because I picked up a Curse of the Blind item that I probably would not have picked up if I could see the item. It wasn't good, but it certainly was a novel experience. So I wouldn't get rid of it completely, but perhaps make it a little bit more interactive of a mechanic. Okay. Enough about curses. Let's buff some items. Items get a pass. It's the mediocre and uninteresting items that are what I care about, right? Like, we're not going to be out here talking about, let's change the Wiz, let's change Curse of the Tower. Like, no. Those items are bad, but interesting. But bad, but not good, those are the items I care about. Soul is not a bad item. I'm gonna... Did I really put Ictory? That's so stupid. Anyway, I've worked on and off on this slideshow for a long time. Did I really put that? That's so awesome. That's amazing. Okay. So, like I said, not the worst items is what I'm looking at, but the most disappointing ones. Mars and Jupiter, I dislike less. Like, I'll pick up Soul if I get it, or I won't even re-roll it probably, but it's still just, it's not interesting. I wish it worked a little different. It's a good item on paper, right? It's not bad. It doesn't harm your run like the ways Mars or Jupiter could. It reveals the boss room on the map, gives you full HP, lifts curses. I like lifting curses. Full mapping, charges your active item, damage and luck boost. What's not to like? Except that's only after you fight the boss, when the floor is already over. So, like, all those buffs only happens once you clear the boss. So, like, the full heal might be nice. Getting the active item, cool. Lifting curses, that's good, right? Immunity from Curse of the Blind, like you can just skip your items and then come back for them. Make sure you're picking up something intelligent, right? And your angel and devil room items will always be known to you. That's especially important in this game, but still, it's a good item, but it's not cool. Nobody really likes Soul. It's underappreciated, but it's underappreciated for a reason. So what would I do? I'd mirror it to its sister, Luna. So Luna makes extra secret rooms appear, gives you tears up for them. Soul, I feel like it could make mini bosses spawn on the floor. Grant a damage up bonus after you get those mini bosses. It could also show up on the map, right? I feel like if there was going to be one already, it could make a second one appear, right? Also, low-key would protect you from greed in the shop. Or if maybe it doesn't protect you from greed in the shop, and you just get a damage up bonus for fighting greed in the shop, that'd be cool. I'd be good with that too. Yeah. As well as heal 1 red heart instead of a full heart. Yeah. Instead of a full heal. So, you know, give you a bonus as the floor, as well as whatever mini boss payout there'd be. Yeah. Alright, the jar. What a worthless item. When it comes to forgettable, uninteresting items, the jar is an item that exists in this game. Wow, incredible. You can store 4 hearts in it. That's so cool. Alright, let's make it work a lot differently. Let's make it a true storage device. Let's be able to store any pickups in there. So any card, key, bomb. More interestingly, runes, trinkets, maybe even batteries. And then we start getting into some crazy shenanigans there. And I feel like, you know, you hit spacebar so you can wheel like Bag of Crafting and go shoo, and then you can click and hold spacebar to drop the stuff that's in the jar. I feel like it's way more interesting. Like, at very worst, you can make it so it's 4 more heart containers. Like, if you're doing soul hearts only, you can slap some soul hearts in there to hang on for later, or some situational trinkets, right? Yeah, make it a bad melee weapon like Bag of Crafting too. Yeah, you can store some soul hearts or situational trinkets that you only want to use in certain circumstances, but you don't want to be hanging on to them all the time, right? Yeah, Bag of Crafting, cool. I feel like that'd be a good idea for the jar. Okay, and this is what I mean by this slideshow's been around for a while. Little Maggie starter deck Polydactyl. Polydactyl. I feel like Polydactyl should store a 3rd consumable slot. It should stack. It's disappointing when you get 2 of them. But I don't think it should give you like 4 consumable slots. That's too much. So let's not go crazy here, right? Little Baggy and card slot, they already have an additional effect, right? Convert all the cards in the game to cards, or to pills, and pills into cards, you know, vice versa. Well, and runes, too. They already have an extra effect. They don't really need a buff. Well, Little Baggy doesn't need anything. It sucks, but I wouldn't change it. Copies of the same item don't grant different slots, right? Baggy and starter deck, they already grant the same bonus item slot. Polydactyl would give a different one. Well, that's weird. Why would it work like that? There's no precedent for that. Well, look at Magic Mush and Cricket's Head. They grant the same damage multiplier. Same with the Strength card. They give multiplier, but it's the same one. If you pick up Magic Mush, after you've got Cricket's Head, you get the small bonus damage up that it has, like in addition to its multiplier, but it's the same multiplier. That'd be the same with Little Baggy and Starter Deck, but Polydactyly would give you a different one. Now, this is more rare. I feel like this sort of thing happened all the time in After Earth Plus, and that's what I meant earlier by saying I've been working on the slideshow for a while, or at least some of these ideas for a while. Yeah, more item slots. Yeah, whatever. These ideas have been bouncing around in my head for a long time. Like, Deep Pockets used to be on these two slides, right? Because that was before that was before Repentance. This idea, I don't even remember. Did Deep Pockets give you another trinket, or did it give you another consumable slot? I don't even remember anymore. I remember its new effect now. Anyway, same with Belly Button, Mom's Purse. Same idea, right? With trinkets this time. Again, needs to be a different item. You can't deploy a Belly Button and then get a new one. Wouldn't work. It had to be Mom's Purse. They just grant a different item slot. Yeah. You hold 3 trinkets. That'd be cool. I'd like that. Oh, yeah, I even made a slide about this. Yeah. About how these ideas have been kicking around my head a long time. And, oh yeah, and Polydactyl and Belly Button, they used to be in the boss pool, so you saw them all the time. Anyway. Yeah, they all give consolation trinkets and consumables now, so, like, all these items are better. So, like, the change isn't that necessary, but I would still like the interaction to be in the game. That'd be cool. Oh boy, you guys ready to talk about Skinny Odd Mushroom? Yeah, time to talk about Skinny Odd Mushroom. Okay, it's not a bad item on paper. Huge tears up, good speed upgrade. With the damage down, that's where the item hurts. It hurts you, because in Repentance, at the end of the day, it just ends up being a damage down, and that's it. Only these characters really benefit from Skinny on Mushroom, and sometimes not even Blue Baby and Napoleon. Mostly those first 3, and certainly that first one. Tainted Eve, you pick up Skinny on Mushroom when you see it. You are unlikely to ever hit the Tears Camp, and especially when you're shooting with a million guys, you're not even going to feel that damage down. No, and same with the Keepers, because they start with such horrendously low rates of fire that Tears Up is you're gonna love it. But aside from these guys, you don't want Skinny on Mushroom. It just ends up being a damage down 99% of the time for the rest of the cast. Some people say it's like a only take it when you need it item like Libra, but that item or that situation is so uncommon in Repentance, because Repentance is so much more of a well-balanced game than After Earth Plus was. You don't find yourself with mediocre damage stats and tears stats. Like, the boss pool is so much more well-balanced. The golden chests are so much more balanced. There's just more damage ups and tears ups in the game that you're going to find. You're not going to end up in terrible situations. You're going to get the tears upgrades that you're going to need in Repentance. You will, more often than not, end up at the tears camp. So Skinny on Mushroom doesn't make much sense. Like, the only times you should pick it up if you've gotten unlucky and it's late in the run and you still haven't ran into a single tears up, and you open the secret room, bada bing bada boom, there's Skinny on Mushroom. And you don't really care about the damage down because you way more near the tears up. But early, it's not a very good idea to pick up Skinny on Mushroom. You're probably going to get good tears. Yeah, only applies late game. Sure. So Skinny on Mushroom. We're still talking about that? Oh yeah, I skipped ahead on that point. Yep. Yeah, and after Plus, you put up with bad tears up items like Will Worm and Dark Prince's Dark Prince's Crown, because often that's like the only darn DPS that you're ever going to get the whole run. After Plus, way less balance in Repentance. So you put up with weird stats ups like this, but in Repentance, you don't have to put up with Skinny on Mushroom. You can ignore it. So, I'm a big fan of duality. Let's compare it with Fat Odd Mushroom. Damage up, speed down, size up, who cares? HP up, range up. That's everything that Fat Odd Mushroom gives you. Skinny Odd, what it gives you a tears up, speed down, size down, damage down multiplier. There is some symmetry going on here. Now, by the way, those size up and size down, those are purely cosmetic in the case of Skinny and Fat on Mushroom. Oh yeah. And it's just his head, not his actual size. Anyway. Yep, I'm all for symmetry. So instead of the usual cries of getting rid of the damage multiplier, let's make more parallel benefits to Fat on Mushroom. It doesn't give you any HP. Let's give it an empty heart container, unlike the full heart container. And let's look at that tears upgrade, since that's what it brings to the table. Instead of that 1.7 tears up, let's give it a tears cap breaker. Because the damage down, that's part of the item's identity. Like, I don't know, I wouldn't be comfortable getting rid of the damage down because that's Skinny on Mushroom. That's what it does. But it becomes worthless because you always had the tears cap. So let's make Skinny Odd Mushroom break the tears cap. So make it like a good tears up plus a cap break. So either a full 1.0 or make it a 0.5 tears cap break. Whichever way would be quote more balanced, right? I'm more for the 1.0 tears cap breaker. You're eating kind of a big damage down. At least give me a big worthwhile effect with the 1.0 tears cap breaker. That's my opinion about that. Yeah, a lasting impact on your run that's going to last longer than the damage down. Okay, so that was 5 slides about Skinny on Mushroom. I'm going to take a quick stretch break. Enjoy these gifts of dancing Gaster for a second. Listening to, Asgore. I didn't even think about how much Undertale stuff I had stuck in this slideshow as distractionary materials as I was talking. I just picked the Undertale music 2 seconds before I started the slideshow. I kind of forgot that it would actually go well. Like, it was a toss-up between, Hollow Knight, V, Undertale, Isaac, whatever soundtrack to put on background music. I was like, I'll do the Undertale concert, sure. And then I kind of forgot, like, all the dancing Gasters and all that stuff. Okay. Okay, that's enough of a break. Right back to it. Okay, another sucky item in the game, Little Portal. Who cares about Little Portal? This item is so garbage. I hate it. I hate this item. It's definitely on the list of items I never pick up because it steals everything that you love in this life and it gives nothing back. It'll take it all. It'll just take everything you want. Lucky pennies. I hate it. So, some things you could do. Make it a double tap to activate, like GB Bug. Cool. Bam. Problem solved. Like, honestly, you could stop there. Or make the portals at least follow Teleport 2.0 rooms, so you can get to at least the Devil Deal or the Error Room. Or make the portals generate when you enter the portal, not when it's created. So you can go back after you clear out the game, the floor, and you can hop into the portals after the fact for some benefit, because as it is, they generate when the portal's created, and it just will take you to a random room. Who cares? All 3 changes? Maybe that's a little too good for abuse. But I'd take the first and the third one, I think. Mostly. Double tap to activate like GB Bug, and generation on entrance of the portals, not when they're created. Just those 2 changes. Beautiful. Duality. Always a little disappointed to see duality, because it's like, dude, instead of getting an item on my run, I'm getting something that probably will amount to not much, especially if you get it late. Because you already have quite a bit of control whether you go Angel or Devil. Like, yeah, the additional choice is a little nice, but, like, not important. So, what I was thinking, add a door that leads between the Angel and Devil room, right? So you can truly pick. You can hop back and forth between the rooms. Like, the second you touch something, then the door will close, right? And then you can't keep going back and forth. I keep hitting the button. Like if you pick up, you know, any of the items on one side, the door will close. You can't go back. That's my idea. Make it so you can truly pick between them all. Yeah. Taking up anything in one room and make it disappear. Yeah, make for good measure, make everything disappear like the death certificate effect. Yeah. Because you can use doorstop to keep the door open. You can already do that with duality, by the way, in case you didn't know that. It's pretty cool. But and maybe you leave that niche interaction in anyway, because that's a cool interaction. You can get both with duality and doorstop. That'd be kind of fun. Alright. God's Flesh. Another item that you might forget is in the game, except sometimes when a familiar, or you have like fruitcake or something, and a guy gets small, and you're like, what? Buddy in a box? Why did you... Oh, he's got God's Flesh. Right. Just a disappointing item. Wow. Incredible. Let's read that again. Tears have a 10% effect to apply the shrinking effect. Whoa, that's awesome. Really cool. Nobody cares. So its biggest weakness is if it's got a death rattle, it will harm you. You are not immune to the creep it'll leave or the creep it is making. So let's get rid of that. So if it'll explode, shoot bullets, make creep, leave other enemies, just they're all... No, it doesn't do that. If it's something influential of God's Flesh when you squish it, no, pass. Because sometimes it's kind of hard to tell with all the chaos of what's going on the screen. It's like, oh, is that a champion enemy? Wait, let me take the time before I step on this guy to make sure he won't explode when I do so. No, absolutely not. Just make it so that gets, like, it just gets taken away by God's Flesh. Yeah, no more explosions. Wait, is there a watermark on that Delta Rune explosion? There sure is. Right? Tears, bullets, creep, whatever. No, just doesn't do it. Sometimes it's really hard to see because those guys get tiny. Right? Maybe just a quarter size of the sprite instead. Or add a little status effect above their head. There's not a status effect symbol. So one of these things in this game has a status effect symbol, not God's Flesh. So just add like a little God's Flesh mushroom above their head. You can either do both, or just do the status effect symbol, that's fine. Alright, now here's some other disappointing items I didn't really have incredible ideas about, but I thought they all should get honorable mentions, that if you have an idea of what to do about these stupid items, you can think about it. Milk. And similarly, it hurts. Like a tears upgrade after you get hurt in a room. Wow, incredible. Angry Fly and Best Bud. Just two of the biggest who cares items in the game. Angry Fly at least does some good contact damage when it's like a big boss, like Hush. Like his little rotation around Hush, he will pretty much always come in contact with Hush, so that's good, some constant damage. But like most of the time, it does nothing. Oh, but Best Bud, you might be arguing. Best Bud, it's got the highest contact damage of any orbital in the entire game. Who cares? It's so fast, and you have to take damage to activate it first. Like, nobody cares. The most interesting things about Angry Fly and Best Bud is they contribute 1/3 to PAs above. That's the best quality about these two items. Is that if you get 2 more fly items, you'll get flight. I agreed, it just steals all your money. I hate this item. I never pick it up. Make it do something else. Taurus, it's just a speed down. That's what Taurus amounts to. 90% of the time is a speed down, because when you pick it up early, you're never going to get fast enough. It's an annoying speed down. So by the time you get enough speed that you actually finally get the invincibility effect before the rooms clear, it's late game. You're like on the chest, and then you got to sit there and wait for Taurus to wear off, because the damage that you do from the contact damage from being invincible with Taurus is not better than your tier damage. So you sit there, do a little bit of damage, wait for Taurus to wear off, and then you get to shoot your tiers again and do way more damage to the bosses on chests. Taurus sucks. I hate Taurus. Delirious. One of the most, like, might be the single most disappointing item in the game because it doesn't work. Sometimes you spawn a boss and it doesn't even do anything. It just dies. 12 room charge for nothing. Great. And then you leave the room, you don't even get to keep the boss. It's not even a, you get to keep the boss for the floor kind of situation. It sucks. Delirious sucks. Like, okay, there's one idea. Make at least the boss last until it dies or until you go to the next floor. Because as it is, you leave the room, the boss goes away. Wow, okay. Maybe it's too broken in case you get... What if you get infinite charges? Then you could spawn a whole bunch of bosses and then, like, one-shot Delirium or whatever. Good! It's a 12-charge rare item. It should do something like that. Come on, man. Car battery synergies. Okay, car battery, amazing item. Always pick up car battery, even if you don't have anything that directly benefits from car battery, because there's so many good things in this game that do benefit from car batteries. But not everything in the game works well with car battery. And I think that's a bit of a missed opportunity for reroll items, right? I feel like if you use the D6 or spin down or eternal D6, something like that, with car battery, it should cycle between the original item and what the reroll would be, like Soul of Isaac. It gains a Soul of Isaac-like effect instead of rerolling the item twice, because that's stupid. Like, it is the way it should work, but for the Eternal D6, all car battery means now, like, it basically means nothing for the D6, and that's fine. Spin down, it means you might hop over items you want and makes the item worse. And Eternal D6, it just increases the chance of, deleting the item. So car battery's neutral for D6 and bad for the other two. I feel like it should cycle back like Soul of Isaac. Alright. There are exceptions too. Like, this isn't just I'm pulling this out of my butt. Like, there are things in the game that have a unique difference. Hang on. Oh, I got a little bit ahead of my reasoning. So take Mineshaft or Ventricle Razor and Moving Box. They all do something that doesn't work exactly right. Because it used to be Minecrafter, you drop the TNT barrel, you push it in and it explodes. And that's what you would expect it to do with car battery. But now they changed it so it's 2 TNT barrels. I can detonate it. Ventricle Razor does nothing. Moving Box does nothing. Cool. Stitches. Those 3 examples down there, that's what Stitches should do. It should do nothing instead of becoming a minor telefrag item. I still think you can use Stitches with car battery to get into a curse room if you park Stitches right in front of the door for curse rooms, but that's it. Car battery kind of ruined Stitches, so I would say make it Stitches more on the line of Ventricle Razor Moving Box Minecrafter. Alright, everything jar. Right now it's fine that it spawns the poop because that's the first fine interaction. But come on, it would just be way cooler if it gave the same payout. Like 7 charges, give me 2 soul hearts. I get the full 12, give me the 2 random wacky effects. Come on. It'd be way more cool if that happened. Just saying, dude. It'd be way more fun. So here's all the items in the game that it doesn't do anything with. Some of those, like, it makes sense, right? It makes sense that Eraser doesn't work twice. Esau Jr., Flip, some of these make sense. How would you make Jello activate twice, or Genesis activate twice? Glowing Hourglass? Like, yeah, sure, it makes sense. But others, I feel like we can do better. Doctor's Remote. Make a double damage missile, or 2 missiles, right? Bob's Rotten Head. You just throw 2 heads at the same time, or make it double damage. Mom's Bra. Make it 2x the duration of the status effect. Shoop de Whoop. You do like a double brimstone shot. Or make the brimstone lice twice as long, right? Gello. Have 2 fetuses on top of each other. Like, that's how it works for Sprinkler. When you use Sprinkler, some people don't think Sprinkler works. It does. The sprinklers are just literally on top of each other, perfectly in sync. You notice this if you plop down the sprinkler and like the tear shoots and it kills an enemy and you don't have piercing and it keeps going. That's because one tear hit and was spent and the other tier keeps going. So you can see that there's actually 2 sprinklers just on top of each other. Have that be the way for Jello too. Or Gello. Jello. Free Lemonade, Lemon Mishap, 2x damage, 2x duration of the creep, one of those 2. And by 2x damage, I mean like make 2 puddles of creep directly on top of each other. Mr. Me might be a little complicated of an idea, but I like this idea. If the first attempts fail, Mr. Me will go again. He'll try it. So works out to be a 75% chance that you steal the thing instead of just a 50. Glass cannon, make it 2 giant tears that you shoot out. Mom's pad, 2x the duration of the status effect, gives you 2 blue flies instead of just 1 blue fly. Oh wow. Mega blast, 2x duration of the blast. Whoa, that's way overpowered. You can't do that. Well, guess what? Mega Mush works with car battery. Mega Mush gets 2x duration. It goes from 30 seconds to 60 seconds of using Mega Mush. And Mega Mush is way better than Mega Blast. Like, you win the game if you pick up Mega Mush. It's one of the insta-win items in the game, right? Just make Mega Blast. If Mega Mush, which is a similar giant 12 charge item that does a cool, crazy thing, make Mega Blast also work with it. Come on, man. Red Candle, make that shoot 2 flames, right? You get the idea. I feel like a lot of these are kind of like, you get the idea. We can keep going on, but that's fine. Those are the highlights, I feel like. Alright. Another minor change I'd make for there's options. Again, very powerful item. Doesn't actually really need a buff. But I feel like it was always kind of a cute little synergy I had in mind. Was with Steven, make it so that the boss payout is little Steven and Steven. You'd always, pretty much always pick Steven, right? Instead of one of those two and then a random boss pool item. That's how it currently works. But I feel like it's just a cute little interaction in that situation. Like I said, if I had a magic wand, it can make any change I want with Isaac. This is a tiny little cute change I'd make. Anyway. Gemini. Just for the love of God, make it contribute to the conjoined transformation. Why not? Come on. Like, why? Literally, you get a conjoined twin. Like, it's more conjoined than any other baby familiar in the game. I don't get it. Why doesn't it contribute to conjoined? Also, why is it separate on the completion grid from all the other astral sign items? All the rest of them are right in a row. You know, Leo, Sagittarius, Libra, Capricorn, all those are right next to each other. Except Gemini. It's far away on the completion grid. Why is that? It's very weird. Okay, anyway. Alright, other stuff buffs. Slot machines. These bad boys suck. Like, I only play one when I desperately need something, right? If I really need a bomb, a card, or a heart, I don't play them. I know people install mods to make it so it sucks down your money to get stuff faster, but, like, I'm not about the time travel mod, man. So these things have never gotten a buff in Isaac ever. But they have gotten a nerf. They've been nerfed in Isaac history. Back in Rebirth, Afterbirth Plus, if you bombed them in the Dark Room chest, they'd give you an item. They don't do that in Repentance, which I guess is consistent, I suppose, but it's also a nerf. Like, you just pretend that that's like a real screenshot, by the way, not just a you know, I couldn't find a good screenshot. Anyway, so yeah, let's add another function to these things that interests me specifically. What do I mean by that? I'm sure there's other buffs that you can make to this item, the slot machines, but this is a video about me, right? The things I would change. What's a mechanic in the game that I love dearly in my heart? Trinkets. So I like the idea of just having a chance for your trinket to get swallowed when you're playing one of these things. Like to add mods that do more trinket gulping action. Well, let's add them to the slot machine. It's an area of the game that's a little weak in my opinion. Let's give it another try. So I'd put the percentage about whatever it was for Pretty Fly, and Pretty Fly is about 75%, 80%. You know, however, slotting in another positive payout in there, however, the percentage would need to be adjusted across the board, adjust it to make room for gulp, but I'd be down. Okay, next item, Purple Heart. What a lame, terrible trinket. There's a lot of situational trinkets that in the right situation is good, like Crow Heart. A lot of people don't like Crow Heart because most of the game it's bad, because you don't want to take Red Heart damage to lose your Angel and Devil Room. But after Womb, it's actually good because if you get hit with Crow Heart, you're taking up your Red Heart first instead of losing your Soul Hearts. So like after Womb, after Devil and Angel deals, it's actually a good trinket because you first use your replenishable HP and then you hit your soul hearts second. So your unreplaceable HP gets used up second. It's actually good, but not for most of the game. Not for most of the game it isn't. And also it's, it's god tier trinket for Forgotten. Your entire health bar becomes a bone heart, basically. But that's besides the point. There's no good situations for Purple Heart. This item is like never useful. So where's the area of expansion that we could look at it? Well, it does. Champions and pickups do have some interaction. So technically, if you're looking for more pickups, you could argue that picking up Purple Heart is a good idea, but it's never worth it. So let's make it worth it. How do we improve it? Let's increase that drop rate chance, maybe. But then that's just how it works on normal mode. Okay, so let's add a chance to have them drop, let's say, 2 payouts. And the champions that don't pay out with payouts will drop based on the Glyph of Balance mechanic. So if you fight an enemy, maybe he'll drop 2 bombs now, or 2 keys. Or that green champion that normally doesn't drop anything, there's a chance with Purple Heart that because of Glyph of Balance, he's going to drop you 2 soul hearts now. Whoa! That could be great. Make it a small, but like the number, it's gotta do something, man. Right now it's just here, have a harder game for no reason whatsoever. Alright. Golden bombs and golden keys. Obviously really good consumables, they don't actually need to change. But in the situation you already have a golden bomb and golden key, it's always just a little bit disappointing when you get another one, especially when it's floor 1 and you don't need any keys for anything, and then you get a golden key, and then you get another golden key. And you're like, dude, I need actual keys for next floor. So I feel like a minor consolation. Give the player a bomb and a key if they already have a golden key. Oh, there's Isaac. He's so sad. He's already got a golden bomb and a golden key. But he picked it up, and now he got an extra bomb and a key. Cool. That's what I think it should do anyway. And more golden trinket effects? Yeah. Like, just, we're not going to get into it because there's a lot of golden trinkets that do not have a golden trinket effect. But, let's take one example. Locust of Death now makes, another locust. Wow, okay, cool, great. I feel like that's such an obvious one too, but the locusts, Locust of Death, Locust of War, Locust of Pestilence, all those trinkets, they don't do anything with their golden variant. It's the same effect. Kind of strange. Because I feel like that is a really obvious place to start. But anyway, everyone knows, everyone who could wave a magic wand and add something to the game, golden trinket, free. Let's move on. Character buffs. It's a good time for this song. Character buffs. Alright, let's first start with the characters that I would love to change, but I don't know how. Chain of Cain and Chain of Lazarus. I think the ideas of these characters just suck. Turns out, making all your items via crafting recipes from 4 floor drops, it's just not fun. Chain of Lazarus, even with the buff to flip, it's still just not fun. Piloting 2 mediocre runs at the same time. Juggling the resources that you have to use between the 2 of them. Turns out it's still not fun. How do we change these characters so they are fun? Without ruining the identity of these characters? Like Cain. He's the crafting guy. How do we change it so it doesn't suck? I don't know. I really don't know, because it's just the idea sucks, but that's his identity. And same with Chain of Lazarus. He's 2 guys. That's his deal. He flips between the 2 of them. How do I change this so it doesn't suck? I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that question. So, I think these characters suck, but I don't know how to change them. I don't have any good ideas. So, just thought I'd throw it out there. Tainted Eden, on the other hand, a character I think that sucks, I do have an idea or 2 of what I would do about Tainted Eden. So, Tainted Eden's problem is that it's too chaotic, it's too much. When it feels out of your control, you have no power. You're just a piece of debris in the ocean being pulled this way and that way. It's not fun. It's not fun. There's no interaction with the mechanic. You can take damage on purpose to reroll a bad run into a good one, but that's about it. There is the item pool glitch, but that is a glitch, and it doesn't help that much. It is good, and I do like... I've made this slide before. I really appreciated the item pool glitch, but even so. Tainted Bethany works because... Why am I talking about Tainted Bethany here? Excuse me, past me. What do you want about? I'm talking about wackiness and zaniness. You can always get off Tainted Bethany's wild ride by destroying the wisps. There is no home base or security for Eden. There is a home base for Tainted Bethany. Am I talking about Tainted Bethany can be really exciting and interesting? Past me, what are you talking about? I don't get your comparison, past me. Okay, and then I just threw a meme about bad rerolls for Tainted Eden down here. I don't know what past me was getting at. Anyway, what the changes I would make. what was I on, past me? What are you talking about here? Okay, anyway. So, I would make it so each individual item only has a chance to reroll. So some of the stuff you get to keep. So there's some string of connection between the old build and the new. There's some shared identity. Right? So all this stuff that you had, next reroll, oh, you got to keep some of it. All this run, it still has... What does it still have? Wait. Oh, no, I see. No, I know. Right, so you got hit, and that re-rolls, but with the change, bam. Some of those items didn't change. You kept Tech X. You kept Serpent's Kiss, Keeper's Kin. What else did you keep? You kept Sad Bombs and Coin Bag. Wow. That's amazing. Cool. As well as items that Eden originally picks up, they don't matter, because next time you get hit, it's gone. So I think that there should be a chance that it rolls back to the very original item. So over the course of the run, you'll keep seeing that original item over and over again. So it does matter some. The items that you pick up outside of what pool they belong to. So there's some stability that comes from that. I'd suppose I'd patch... Oh, I did know about the item pool glitch at this time. Okay, cool. I'd patch the item pool... No. Past me, you're crazy. We're not patching the item pool glitch under any circumstance. And those numbers, I didn't even read the numbers out loud. 2/3, 1/3, those are just made up unreal numbers, right? I don't know what would be fun or practical or good or interesting. You'd actually have to playtest this idea to see, you know, what would be a good percentage. But I just went with 2/3, 1/3, just for the time. So like, yeah, there's the first hit, there's the second hit, third hit, right? Original first hit, second hit, you can see the stuff. Yeah, cool. There's an example for you. Oh wait, I actually have to click the next slide for it to do that. Neat. I have 2 little Gerties. Okay, that's a my bad moment. Past me made an error there. I have 2 little Gerties on that third one. Whatever, you get the idea. Tainted Apollyon. Alright. Coldest take, finish Abyss's synergies, absorbing items in the game. Everybody says that. Everybody wants this change. There's very few interesting locusts that you can actually get with the mechanic. There's only 13, and Brimstones doesn't even do anything. Here they are, in case if you need a reminder. And of all of these, the only one that's even remotely worth it is perhaps... If you already have Scorpio, you might as well suck up the Common Cold, because it doesn't do anything. If you have familiars, you might as well suck up Halo of Flies, because, you know, they're already overridden anyway. If you... I don't like Triple Shot, I might just suck up Triple Shot for, you know, getting 3 Locusts. But I would never suck up, like, any of these other ones. Except perhaps Ipecac, but if I don't want to, you know, have Ipecac right now with the run I got going on. But, like, that's it. Everything else, there's no way you would suck them up. Anyway. Say Napoleon. Right, the new mechanic, it doesn't have to be as crazy as Book of Virtues, for example. I feel like that's probably why it didn't get finished, is because they were going to make it as exhaustive and interesting as the Book of Virtues mechanic, except there's a lot more items in the game than active items. It would take forever. So I feel like you could just do big chunk it, like large categories. A few special locusts for notable items, that'd be still interesting, but for example, make all the HP items, like, make those be the same. Right? What the heck? Why did that... Okay, why did that show up early, but then you go back, and he goes away? Anyway. So all the HP, like, they could grant you the same locust. All the fly items, they could grant you the same kind of locust, right? Anyway. And that's more of an Abyss change than it is a Tainted Apollyon change, but it obviously affects Tainted Apollyon much. I actually like Tainted Apollyon in his current form, is fine. People hate on him, but I don't know, he's okay. I don't mind Tainted Apollyon so much. I wish he was finished, but I don't put him in the dumpster tier that a lot of people put him in. However, let's give him a little bit of a unique identity outside of Abyss. So it could work differently for himself than for others. Like, Sumptorium, Bag of Crafting, all of those items for their special tainted character, they work different for them than they do when you pick it up for yourself, as a different character in another run. So let's make Abyss work a little bit differently. So he's the Plague Bringer. He doesn't really feel like much of a Plague Bringer. So on top of the item absorbing giving you a permanent locust for each item that you've already absorbed, you also can get like a bonus locust. Let's take advantage of that 4 item room charge. When you don't got much going on, you're not probably going to be absorbing any items anytime soon, so you can generate some locusts. Make a big old swarm. Bring the plague on, man. Yeah, it gives you something to do with Abyss when there are no items to consume. Yeah, so if you've consumed 12 items, bam, next time you use Abyss, pop out 12 temporary locusts too, on top of everything else it'll do, which is suck up an item. That's just my opinion. It doesn't actually have to be real. Alright. Apollyon. The real cream of the crop. Cream of the crop when it comes to mediocre characters in Isaac. He's probably the least interesting character in the game. Like, even over characters like Blue Baby and Maggie and Cain and Samson and regular Eve, I think Apollyon takes the cake. And when it comes to being just the biggest missed potential, like, a Void can be fun. But all Apollyon really is Isaac with 2 HP and a quality 4 item that just, it's just not a quality 4 item. Void, I'd argue, is a quality 4 item. I think it deserves that, right? You can re-roll bad items into just being a damage up. And not even just a damage up that gets better with real damage ups. I think Void is quality 4 item. It also can suck up active items, right? So instead of just leaving active items behind, like with Void, you can suck them up for a Locust. And that's actually good. I think it really is a quality 4 item, but Void is not. Abyss is, Void isn't. Yeah. Void, it's not as good as the D6. It's not as fun as the D6. Or even, like, a lot of other items that characters start with. It's good. Don't get me wrong. Void's still a good item. But, again, funnily enough, like I mentioned way back when, Repentance is a much more balanced, better game than Effort Plus. Void wasn't changed. Repentance was changed around Void. And as a consequence, Void is less good in Repentance than it was after Earth Plus, because there's less bad items to suck up. There's, like, you're not sucking up all the items that you used to, right? Soaking up mediocre active items, like, you don't want to do that because of the 6-room charge. Like, there's a lot of mediocre items. Like, you don't want to waste your time sucking these things up. You only got 6 charges to work with, and like, the effect that you're going to have by adding this to Void, it's not worth it. Who cares? Don't do it. Bad idea. And there's so many situational items that you don't want to add to Void either. Like, you don't want to put... Oh, wrong slide. I was getting ahead of myself. Like, only the best items is worth your time to be added to Void. Like, this stuff. The cream of the crop. And Crystal Ball, too. I guess I added that separately. But yeah, all these items, these are the kind of items that you want to add to Void. Yeah, good. And the situational items or anti-synergies, you have to think twice about putting in. Like, all this stuff, like, you don't want to put in this stuff in there without thinking. It's certainly got certain situations, so I would say past me, putting Glowing Hourglass in here wasn't exactly smooth, but all this other stuff, like, crazy that Flip, Jar Flies, Jar, Stitches, Notch-Act, Esau Jr., they don't even give you a stat upgrade for sucking them up. They just do nothing. Anyway, that's all crap. So let's change this around. Nope, I'm still yarning on. Okay, past me, what are you saying about passive items? Oh yeah, most of the time in Afterbirth Plus, you are searching for tears and damage, right? That's what you're really looking for with Void. Sucking up bad passive items. But sucking up mediocre items isn't worth it, because mediocre items in this game, they'll get you through now. Sucking up even something like Brother Bobby, right? Like for a shot speed upgrade isn't worth it, because on floor 1, Brother Bobby's Incubus. Like, it'll help you out. Of course, once you get a couple of stats upgrades, he gets outpaced quickly, but floor 1, maybe not. Bob's Brain can do some work. You're really gonna use Void to get like that? Like, the mediocre items in the game aren't really worth sucking up. Bad items and useless items, sure, but the line of where to suck up the items, it's kind of a tricky balance to find, and I think I found it, though. There's actually not as many candidates worth sucking up for random stats as there once was. And that's good. That means Repentance is a much better game, much more well-balanced, right? It means you're getting tears and damage from other items more often, you're not as desperate for them, and there's less viable candidates. But it also means, as a consequence, Void isn't as good. Alright, so what can we do about this? Alright, first, I know he's the only vanilla character that would have this, but I got something here, right? This is a big idea. Okay, stick Void as a pocket item. Slap that bad boy in the Q slot. It'll work differently than him for others, right? Like those other pocket active items. Void will work the same, but now, Apollyon will have a different property when it comes to active items. He'll be able to hold of them. What? That's crazy, you're saying. Why can he hold 8? 1 second, I'm getting to it. Alright, so he'll be able to cycle through them, right, with drop, right, control. I don't know what that is on controller, but it's control on a keyboard, right? So he can just use all these active items at once. It'll be crazy. And then when you use Void, the interface will look something like that, right? Sure, like Tainted Isaac. And then when you use Void, it'll use all of the items that you got on your spacebar slot. All 8 of them. Ooh. Anyway, using Void on Q, it'll suck up any item for stats, including active items. And using Void will activate every single item on the spacebar slot. However many you've got parked up here. And you can also individually use all those active items, as well as use them all at once with Void. Yeah. Backpack, it can have a synergy of adding 2 more slots. Birthright, Regurgitate, it can work the same, but now it can also spit up active items you've sucked up, too. Yep, an extra slot. Wow. Alright, is this completely, absolutely busted? Probably. Is it more interesting than how Apollyon currently works? Yep. Yep. I'd rather have a busted, crazy character than the nothing of Apollyon right now. Void would work exactly the same as it does right now if you pick it up as other items, as other characters. It could just be like the downgraded version that exists in the item pools, like Berserk, Bag of Crafting, Septorium, etc. Right? It can work like that. That's fine. Alright, ooh, Void rework. Everyone's always talking about a Void rework. First, let's start with the big boy himself, Delirium. Crazy hot take. I don't think Delirium should be able to telefrag you. Wow. I can't believe it. Such an original opinion. But I do think Delirium's a cool boss, man. I think it's a great design. Like, he becomes the bosses that you've encountered over the course of your run. Just crazy, static, teleporty guy. Like, he's cool. Like, I really do like Delirium. At the end of the day, though, he does spawn on top of your head sometimes. And that does suck. So if I could wave a magic wand and stop that from happening, I would. But if it was easy, right? It can't be that easy because there's still no like mod that does that at the time of this video. Like, you look up Delirium on the Steam Workshop, there isn't a mod that's like, I'm stopping Delirium from telefragging you. So it can't be an easy fix. So we can curse Edmund McMillan all day long, but if the modders haven't even done it yet, it must not be easy. Probably have to rebuild Delirium like from the ground up. Maybe that new Repentagon mod can give modders enough tools to like do it, but like as of right now, there really isn't a Delirium fix mod. So, and Delirium's been in the game a while now, so. Alright, Void rework. More interesting to me than reworking Delirium the boss, the Void floor, I feel like, is much more of a missed opportunity. The Void, yeah. It's just random rooms all mixed together in one big mess. It's fine, but it's always easy and always kind of a slog. It's not really hard and it's not interesting. Yep, that's what I said ahead of time. It doesn't really have an identity of its own, except it's the big giant floor that you really, really hate if you get Curse of the Lost. Like, how many times have I been like, oh, why not? I'm going to do like a victory lap. After Mega Satan, the Delirium portal opened. I'm having a good time with this run. I'm going to go to the Void. And it's Curse of the Lost. I'm like, I regret it. I should have ended the video. I shouldn't have come here. I should have been done. Anyway, what it needs is its own identity. Let's make some custom enemies. Custom rooms? It just needs a new identity, man. A couple more special rooms. I was thinking, like, in the Red Redemption Challenge, you know how it is? You walk, the boss rooms are just, like, in the middle of things. We can have some trap rooms like that. You just think it's a regular room, you walk in and it's suddenly a boss? I'm down for that. Yeah, like in the Red Redemption Challenge. There you go. Screenshot right there. Okay. Speaking of challenges, TM Trainer Challenge that you get. The tile sets are random. The rocks are random. They mix together enemies that don't belong together, right? You can have guys from the cathedral with guys from Downpour and a mines rooms layout with a blue womb tile set, right? Like, let's get wacky. This is Isaac's Undying Consciousness where he's sticking all the things together. Let's not mix up the rooms on the floor. Let's mix everything in a giant pot together. Let's get enemies that don't belong to each other in rooms and floor layouts. Let's just scramble it all up, okay? Like in the TM Trainer Challenge, you're looking at, you got caves, you got a depths, like background, you got caves, rocks, and caves enemies, and a blue room walk over there, but it's actually basement 1, right? Oh yeah, I even say as much. Okay, thanks, pass me. But like, let's do that, but like, crank it up. Alright. And then as for the custom enemies ideas, let's make some amalgamation ideas, right? You take a bunch of the classic Isaac enemies and you start mashing them together. Alright? You got a Gaper, you got a Claudie. Not Claudie, oh, what are you, dancing meat boy, man? Claudies, those are the triple shot guys from Wounds. Whatever. That guy. No, those are lumps. You are a Claudie. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Gaper, Claudie, and Angel Fetus. You get. Imagine just one of those enemies just all mashed together. And they do all those things, right? It's got the Goblin Charge and you attack it, but sometimes it does the Dancy Pants, shoots 4 cardinal direction. It'll do the Angel Teleport as well. Like, just imagine all 4 of those enemies glued together. And then if there's any sticky bits in the sprite, just add a goopy Delirium static effect. Just to cover up any odd bits that don't work together when you mash them all together in a sprite. And they could be tough too. Stick some boss armor like the tainted enemies on the Ascent. And then, make some more complicated attacks too. But I more like the idea of them doing the things that are all famous, the enemy to do. But they just do them all. Cool. And then you could make some specific void rooms to throw these guys in. They'd have their own rooms. They just wouldn't be mixed in with the jumble. Cool. And you could design the rooms specifically with the specific jumbled up enemies. Okay. So in summary, 4 new room types. 1, the random rooms, the way it is right now in the game, right? With a couple of void-specific rooms that feature the void portals that are just sprinkled in there randomly. Now that's how it is, right? We'd keep that. That's fine. And then the truly random rooms that have the random tile sets, random enemies, random rocks, random, from all the floors, all mashed together. Those sort of funhouse rooms. True Delirium, right? New custom rooms, right? With the amalgamate enemies. You can make the tile sets random or set, whatever. Depending. Sure. And then the couple special rooms. I was thinking those boss trap rooms from like the Red Redemption Challenge. But you would make it so you couldn't even see it on the map. You would just be walking along, bam, surprise boss, right? Because right now there's a lack of special rooms in the Void, and that's fine. Like, there doesn't need to be a shop and item room or whatever, but like, maybe make a couple, like, Void shops, right? It wouldn't actually be a shop. Like, you'd enter the room, and instead of... It'd be a shop, but instead of items to buy, there could be enemies, right? Instead of a donation machine, there's like a donation machine void enemy. Instead of a shopkeeper, it could be, greed, right? Whatever. It's like, oh, that's a void room. Or you go into a treasure room, and it's an empty treasure room with a void portal instead. You recognize it as a treasure room, but it's a void portal instead. Cool. Right? Really corrupt an Isaac floor is what I'm saying. Anyway. So, in conclusion, as we listen to Battle of a True Hero, you've made it to the end of my slideshow. Congratulations. In conclusion, Isaac's a fun game. Right? All these changes, I'd like them. I like them to be in the game, but it doesn't really... I'm not sold. It's just my opinion. I'd be playing Isaac all day, every day, with or without these changes. In fact, I'd probably still be playing Afterbirth Plus if Repentance never came out. Repentance is great. It's probably added many, many, many more years than me playing this game. But I'd probably still be playing Afterbirth Plus. It was still a good game, too. It just wouldn't be having as much fun. Or I'd be playing Afterbirth Plus with a lot more mods. Or maybe I would have gone to, FTL or Terraria or something. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. That's the end. You've made it. Alright. Thanks for watching. If you have any ideas of what you would like to change in Isaac, feel free to comment. If you think any of my ideas are great, say, hey, that one idea about adding pill to Lazurus' description, I'm totally with you on that one. Or if you're like, dude, your idea about Apollyon is really freaking stupid. You should never cook again. Sure, I'd love to hear all of your ideas. But yeah, see you next time. I thought there was a gag slide. Oh. I thought I added a gag slide. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.